Hello everyone. Today's case presentation of bilateral vocal cord nodule. This case is presented by Dr. Nishant Rod under the guidance of Dr. Tarun Ojha sir. My patient name is Bolaram. He is 55 years old male, Hindu by religion. He is resident of Malpura town. He is vendor by occupation. His socio-economic status is middle socio-economic class. There is importance of name in history is that for identification of patient, for developing rapport with the patient, for maintaining the record of patient, it may help in identifying the unknown religion and for the help in identifying unknown religion. The importance of age in patient is if the patient is young, then there are more chances of diphtheria, whooping cough, epiglottitis, and laryngotracheal bronchitis. In elderly patients, there will be more chances of carcinoma larynx. The importance of sex in patient is importance of sex in patient is in male carcinoma is more commonly than as compared to female, and vocal polyp and nodules are more common in males as common to female. In female, there is Rinke's edema is more common. Occupation: teachers, actors, vendors, singers, stock traders have more probability of vocal polyp and nodules, while the glass blower and trumpet blower have more probability of laryngoscopy. The socio-economic status of patient is known with the help of modified Kupuswamy classification. Modified Kupuswamy classification has three basic. First is the education of head of family. Second is occupation of head of family, and third is total per capita family income per month as given originally in 1976. If the head of family has professional degree, then the score is 7. If the head of family is graduate, then the score is 6. If the head of family is intermediate or having a diploma, then the score is 5. If the head of family studied up to high school, then the score is 4. And if the head of family is studied up to middle school, then the score is 3. And if the head of family is studied up to primary school, then the score is 2. And if the head of family is studied up to is not studied at all, then the score is 1. Occupation of head of family is the second criteria of modified Kupuswamy classification. If the head of family is professional, then the score is 10. And if the head of family is semi-professional, then the score is 6. If the head of family is clerical or he has a shop or he is a farmer, then the score is 5. If the head of family is a skilled worker, then the score is 4. If the head of family is a semi-skilled worker, then the score is 3. If the head of family is unskilled worker, then the score is 2. If the head of family is unemployed, then the score is 1. The third criteria of modified Kupuswamy classification is total per capita family income, which was given in 1976. If the head of family earns 2000 or more than it, then the score is 12. If the head of family earns between 1000 to 1999 rupees, the score is 10. If the head of family earns between 750 rupees to 999 rupees, the score is 6. If the head of family earns between 500 to 749 rupees, the score is 4. If the head of family earns between 300 to 499 rupees, then the score is 3. If the head of family earns between 101 rupees to 299 rupees, the score is 2. If he earns less than 100 rupees, the score is 1. The total score according to modified Kupuswamy scale, if the total score is between 26 to 29, then the person belongs to upper class. If the score is between 16 to 25, the patient belongs to upper middle class. If the modified Kupuswamy scale is between 11 to 15, the patient belongs to lower middle class. If the modified Kupuswamy scale is between 5 to 10, the patient belongs to upper lower class. If the modified Kupuswamy scale is below 5, then the patient belongs to lower class. Chief complaints. Patient came to the OPD with chief complaint of change of voice since last 6 months. Change of voice. Causes of hoarseness of voice in the patient. First cause is infection. Acute and chronic laryngitis, influenza, exanthematous fever, laryngotracheobronchitis, diphtheria, tuberculosis, syphilis, scleroma are the main causes of infection. Neoplasm, papilloma, hemangioma, chondroma, angiofibroma, and leukoplakia, vocal nodule, vocal polyp, contact ulcer or cancers. These are also causes of hoarseness of voice. Trauma, submucosal hemorrhage, laryngeal trauma, foreign bodies and intubation. Paralysis also causes hoarseness of voice. Paralysis of vagus nerve or its branches, recurrent or superior laryngeal or both, causes hoarseness of voice. Fixation of cords. Arthritis or fixation of cricoretinoid joints causes hoarseness of voice. Congenital. Cysts, web and laryngocele also cause hoarseness of voice. Miscellaneous dysphonia plica ventricularis, myxedema and gout also cause hoarseness of voice. History of presenting illness. Patient was apparently asymptomatic 6 months back when he developed complaint of change in voice which was insidious in nature, gradually progressive in nature, aggravated by whispering and shouting, relieved by taking rest, no history of pain in throat, fever, dysphagia, difficulty in breathing or difficulty in swallowing in patient. Change in voice with difficulty in swallowing is seen in carcinoma of larynx, laryngopharyngeal reflux, tumors of laryngopharynx. Change of voice with fever is seen in acute and chronic laryngitis. Change of voice with pain in throat is sometimes seen in vocal nodule on prolonged phonation, chronic laryngitis. Change of voice with difficulty in breathing is seen in laryngeal carcinoma and stridor in adults. Past history. No history of hypertension, diabetes, mellitus, tuberculosis, asthma, and bleeding disorder in that patient. No history of blood transfusion in past. There is no history of sexually transmitted diseases in patient. No history of drug allergy. There is no history of surgery in past and no history of similar complaints in past. Personal history. Patient is vegetarian by diet. His appetite is normal. His bowel and bladder habits are also normal. His sleep is normal and he is not addicted for anything. Family history is not significant here. Importance of past history. History of evening rise of temperature, loss of weight and loss of appetite is associated with tuberculosis of larynx. History of blood pressure is relative contraindication to surgery. Diabetes mellitus which is associated with chronic laryngitis. Asthma which is associated with laryngeal carcinoma. History of sexually transmitted disease. History of sexually transmitted disease is seen in syphilis of larynx, which is a rare condition. History of similar complaints and medical surgical treatment in the past is associated with recurrence of carcinoma. General examination. Patient is conscious, cooperative and well oriented to time, place and person. Patient is well built and nourished. Nopolar icterus, cyanosis clubbing, and generalized lymphadenopathy or pedal edema seen here. Vitals. Blood pressure 128 by 78 millimeter of mercury in right brachial artery in sitting position. Pulse 80 beats per minute, regular in rhythm, rate and volume in right radial artery. Respiratory rate 18 breath per minute. Abdominothoracic type. Temperature patient is febrile by touch. Vitals. The saturation is 98% at room air. Systemic examination. Cardiovascular system. First and second heart sound present and no murmur heard. Respiratory system. Vesicular breathing present, bilateral air entries equal, no additional sounds heard. Central nervous system. Higher mental functions are normal. For abdomen, patient's abdomen is soft, non-tender, no guarding, no rigidity here, and no organomegaly is here. Significance of general examination. General examination is done for proper diagnosis and differential diagnosis, for selecting the patient for anesthesia, to decide type of surgery to be done, to predict the prognosis. Mental state. Mental status and level of consciousness should be assessed in general, but in specific clinical situation like head injury, hepatic encephalopathy, septic shock, etc., mental state is also very important. Glasgow Coma Scale. There are three main components of Glasgow Coma Scale: is eye opening, verbal response, and motor response. If the eye-opening is spontaneous, the Glasgow Coma Scale is 4. If eye-opening is response to verbal command, Glasgow Coma Scale is 3. If eye-opening response to pain, the Glasgow Coma Scale is 2. If there is no eye-opening, Glasgow Coma Scale is 1. Verbal response. If patient is oriented, the Glasgow Coma Scale is 5. If patient is confused, the Glasgow Coma Scale is 4. If patient is speaking inappropriate words, the Glasgow Coma Scale is 3. If patient produce incomprehensible sound, the Glasgow Coma Scale is 2. If there is no verbal response, the Glasgow Coma Scale is 1. Motor response. If patient obeys command, the Glasgow Coma Scale is 6. If patient localized response to pain, the Glasgow Coma Scale is 5. If patient withdraw response to pain, Glasgow Coma Scale is 4. If there is flexion in arm to pain, the Glasgow Coma Scale is 3. If there is extension to pain, the Glasgow Coma Scale is 2. If there is no motor response, the Glasgow Coma Scale is 1. Built-in nutritional status. Built-in nutritional status of patient is important to be assessed. Built is a structural organization of underlying skeleton. It is related to age and sex of the patient. A person is said to be malnourished if BMI is less than 18.5 or has lost more than 5% of body weight during the last 3 to 6 months. Infants are said to be malnourished if weight for height is below less than 3 standard deviation. Visible severe muscle wasting and presence of bipedal edema according to WHO classification. Nutrition is the proportion of soft tissue structures like muscle, soft tissue, fat in relation to the bony structure. Protein deficiency causes rough skin, brittle hair, and edema of feet. Fat deficiency causes cachexia, hollow cheeks, and loss of fat in hips, abdomen, and subcutaneous tissue of health. Pallor. Pallor is inject in lower palpebral conjunctiva, mucous membrane of lips and cheeks, nail beds, and palmar creases. Causes for pallor are massive bleeding, laryngeal carcinoma, iron deficiency anemia. Example of iron deficiency anemia is Plummer-Vinson syndrome. icterus. It is due to the deposition of bile pigment with excess of it in plasma. It is checked in upper sclera, better seen in against the white background, by asking the patient to look at his feet and clinician puts the upper eyelid upwards. It also can be checked if nail bed, ear lobule, nasal tip and on under surface of tongue. Cyanosis. It is due to the rise in level of reduced hemoglobin in blood, causing blue-purple discoloration in skin and mucous membrane. A minimum of 5 gram per deciliter of reduced hemoglobin should be present in circulation to cause cyanosis. Peripheral cyanosis is checked in nail bed, palm and toes, tip of nose. Tongue is not involved in peripheral cyanosis. Central cyanosis is confirmed by checking in tongue, nail bed, palm and toes. Cyanosis is seen in supraglottic foreign body pediatric epiglottitis due to air hunger. Edema. Edema is the collection of fluid in the interstitial spaces or soft tissues. Edema will be clinically evident if only when fluid accumulates more than 5 liters. Pitting on pressure is the cardinal sign of edema. Conditions in ENT with edema are metastatic lymph nodes, pressing on lymphatics in advanced cases of supraglottic, glottic, and subglottic carcinoma. Pulse. Normal pulse rate is 60 to 100 beats per minute. Characters of pulse to be examined are rate, rhythm, volume, and character. Tachycardia is increased pulse rate if pulse rate is more than 100 beats per minute as seen in laryngotracheobronchitis diphtheria. Bradycardia is decreased pulse rate if pulse rate is less than 60 beats per minute. Blood pressure. Hypertension is persistent rate systolic blood pressure. If the blood pressure is above 140 millimeter of mercury or diastolic is above 90 millimeter of mercury. It is sustained elevation of systemic arterial pressure. It is a strict contraindication for surgery. Hypotension is diminished blood pressure. If the systolic blood pressure is less than 90 millimeter of mercury, it is seen in cachexia of malignancy, tuberculosis, and anemia. Respiration. Tachypnea. If the respiratory rate for patient is more than 20 breaths per minute, is rapid breathing seen in laryngotracheal bronchitis, metastasis, fever, and diphtheria. Gradual deepening of respiration alternating with short periods of apnea is called as skinny stop respiration. Fever. Normal temperature is 36.7 degrees Celsius to 37.5 degrees Celsius. In Fahrenheit, it's between 98 to 99 degree Fahrenheit. The diurnal variation is 1 degree Celsius is normal. Lowest temperature is during morning 2 to 4 am, highest being in afternoon. Fever is increase in body temperature more than 1 degree Celsius or more than the maximum range. Sites of fever, sites where we can measure the fever are oral, axillary and rectal. High grades of fever in case of larynx is seen in epiglottis, laryngotrachea, bronchitis. Types of fever. Continuous fever. If fever persists throughout the day and does not fluctuate more than 1 degree Celsius in 24 hours, it's known as continuous fever. Remittent fever. If fever is above normal throughout the day but there is fluctuation of more than 1 degree Celsius in 24 hours, it's known as remittent fever. Intermittent fever. If the temperature is present only few hours a day and reaches to normal. When fever develops daily, it's called as quotidian. When fever develops on alternate day, it's called as tertian. When it occurs every third day, it's called as quartian. Local examination, larynx examination. External examination. In external examination, Adam's apple is observed. It is approximately 90 degree in patient. It is 90 degree in men and 120 degree in women. Laryngeal crepitus. Crepitus sound is present. Felt due to movement of laryngeal cartilage against cervical spine. Absence of this sound, known as Broca sound, is seen in post-cricoid carcinoma. Larynx examination. Indirect laryngoscopy was performed. Bilateral base of tongue is normal. In indirect laryngoscopy, bilateral base of tongue is normal. Epiglottis is seen pinkish. Bilateral vocal cords are pearly white vocal cords are seen. In bilateral vocal cords, there is nodule at the junction of anterior one third and posterior two third of vocal cord. Bilateral vocal cords are mobile and bilateral arytenoids and epiglottic folds are normal. Interarytenoid area is normal and glottic chink present there. Hypopharynx in hypopharynx bilateral pyriform fossa is normal. There is not any abnormality detected here. This is the slide of normal indirect laryngoscopy where you can see everything is normal. And another diagram of direct laryngoscopy where we can see the bilateral vocal nodule at the junction of anterior one third and posterior two third. Indirect laryngoscopy. Epiglottis. Epiglottis is pinkish in color. Bright red swollen epiglottis is seen in acute laryngitis and pale swollen is seen in allergic laryngitis. Turban-shaped epiglottis is seen in tuberculosis. Second is vocal cords. Vocal cords are normally pearly white in color. They are congested in acute laryngitis. Edema of vocal cord is seen in Rinke's edema. Edge. Vocal nodules are seen at the junction of anterior one third and posterior two third surface. Cyst ulcer of leukoplakic plate is present there. Contact ulcer may be seen on opposite vocal cord. Position of vocal cords. There are five main positions of vocal cord. First is median. Second is paramedian when vocal cord is 1.5 mm from midline, which is seen in strong whisper. Third is cadaveric when the vocal cord is 3.5 mm from midline. Fourth is moderate abduction when the vocal cord is 7 mm from midline, seen in quiet respiration. Fifth is full abduction when the vocal cord is 9 mm from midline, seen in deep inspiration. Arytenoids and aryepiglottic folds are seen. Intra-arytenoid area congestion of this area occur in tuberculosis of larynx. Glottic chink, it is reduced in vocal cord paralysis. Post-cricoid area and pyriform fossa, any growth in this area is suggestive of malignancy. Oral cavity examination of the patient. Mouth opening is adequate. His lips, gums, GB sulcus and teeth are normal. Floor of mouth, buccal mucosa, hard palate and anterior two third of lung also appears normal. Oropharynx. Bilateral base of tongue, uvula, soft palate and bilateral anterior pillar are normal. Bilateral posterior pillar, bilateral tonsils and posterior pharyngeal wall also appear normal. Examination of nose. Nasal septum, nasal mucosa, nasal vestibule appear bilaterally normal and nasal turbinate also bilaterally normal. There is no PNS tenderness there. Neck. No swelling and cervical lymphadenopathy in neck seen. Ear. Bilateral tympanic membrane is intact. In ear we can see preauricular region is normal and postauricular region is also normal. External auditory canal is normal. Tympanic membrane is normal bilateral. Rennie is positive in both ear. Weber is lateralized to both sides. Airborne conduction is airborne conduction is positive in both ears. Seventh cranial nerve is normal in both ears. So the provisional diagnosis of patient is bilateral vocal cord nodule. Investigations done in it. We'll do fiber optic laryngoscopy, X-ray chest, and routine blood investigations, HRCT chest, and COVID-19 RT-PCR. Management. Management of the patient will be microlaryngeal surgery and voice rest. Thank you. Now we are open for the questions. So the first question is asked by Praveen Bose. What are the differential diagnosis of vocal nodule? The differential diagnosis of vocal nodule is if the vocal nodule is gray or white lesion, it could be a pseudocyst, polyp, epidermoid cyst, Rinke's edema. If the vocal cord nodule is a hemorrhagic lesion, it could be hemorrhagic polyp, ectasia, papilloma, carcinoma, or arytenoid granuloma. If the vocal cord nodule is rheumatoid nodule or epidermoid cyst. Thank you. The second question is asked by Almaz was, what is the most common site of vocal cord nodule? The most common site of vocal cord nodule is the junction of anterior one-third and posterior two-third of vocal cords. Third question asked by Shreya was, what are the other treatment options for removal vocal cord nodule? Answer is phonomicrosurgery. This technique reduces risk of scarring and offers best voice outcome. Voice therapy after microsurgery is essential for optimal recovery. Vocal cord laser surgery. In this procedure, surgeon use laser beam to shrink the lesion. This question asked by Kanika was, what are the subsites on larynx according to AJCC? The subsite of larynx according to AJCC mainly three types: supraglottic, glottic, subglottic. Supraglottic are sublingual and laryngeal surfaces of epiglottis, laryngeal surface of aryepiglottic fold, arytenoids and false vocal. Glottic Glottic site are superior and inferior of two vocal fold, anterior and posterior commissure, supraglottis and glottic, lateral margin defined by junction of lateral aspect of ventral. Subglottis inferior margin of glottis to inferior border of cricoid cartilage. This question asked by Vivian Boss. Describe the changes that occur in larynx with age. Changes in larynx with the age are muscle atrophy, thinning of vocal ligaments, mucous gland degeneration, cartilage ossification, and epithelial thickening. Thank you. This question asked by Dr. Bhargavi. What is the Rinke's edema? It is diffuse edema of vocal cords found on the edges of vocal cord. It is a fusiform and irreversible, usually bilateral swelling. This question is asked by Dr. Monica. How do speech therapy helps in vocal nodule? Voice and speech therapy helps you to modify speech patterns that may be putting stress on your vocal cords, which can lead to benign vocal cord lesion. It is helpful in decreased stress. Thank you. This question asked by Dr. Arushi. What is puberphonia? It's a functional voice disorder that is characterized by the habitual use of high-pitched voice after puberty. What is the most common cause of left recurrent laryngeal nerve palsy? Answer is bronchogenic carcinoma. This question asked by Dr. Nirvika, what are the signs of damaged vocal cords? Answer is breathy of voice, hoarseness, noisy breathing, loss of vocal pitch, inability to speak loudly, need to take frequent break after speaking, choking and coughing while swallowing food, loss of gag reflex. marks. So these are all the questions. Thank you so much for listening.